Welcome to my channel, The World of Science Fiction. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. The hall of the Orc fortress was unlike anything Jason had ever seen. The ceiling stretched impossibly high, supported by enormous pillars etched with glowing blue sigils. Strange energy coursed through the carvings, pulsing like a heartbeat. The air carried the scent of burning incense and metal, an odd mix of ritual and war. Jason walked at the front of his crew, flanked by towering Orc warriors. Alex was close at his side, her cybernetic fingers flexing slightly, a habit she had when she was ready for a fight. Seyna led them toward a massive stone throne where a figure sat in heavy black armor, trimmed with gleaming silver. His blue skin was scarred, his eyes cold as a frozen star. This was Master Vael'Zorith, the undisputed ruler of the Orcs. His gaze swept over the humans with thinly veiled disgust.
You dare set foot in my domain?
His voice was a low thunder, echoing through the chamber. Jason remained steady, holding Vael'Zorith's gaze.
We received a distress signal. We came to help.
Vael'Zorith's lips curled in disdain.
Lies. No Orc would ever call for help.
Naomi exhaled sharply behind Jason.
All right, well, someone did. And we found your planet abandoned and half-buried in ruins, so maybe you should check your ego and start asking questions.
Jason clenched his jaw. Naomi had no filter, and this was not the moment to mouth off to a giant warrior king. The Orc guards bristled, but Vael'Zorith simply chuckled, a slow, deep rumble that sent chills down Jason's spine.
You have spirit, little one, a reckless trait among your kind.
Jason stepped in before Naomi could make things worse.
We didn't come here to fight, but if something is happening on your world, we might be able to help.
You assume we require help from fragile creatures like you.
Alex's arms were crossed, her stance unwavering.
Seems to me your planet is a graveyard, your people are hiding in a fortress, and you just ripped a door off our ship instead of answering a simple question. So yeah, I'd say you have a problem.
Deep, rumbling, booming laughter erupted from Vael'Zorith's chest. Seyna, standing beside her father, exhaled quietly, her expression unreadable. Finally, Vael'Zorith leaned forward on his throne.
If you wish to prove you are not weak, then you will face the war trials.
Jason's stomach tightened.
War trials.
Vael'Zorith's grin was sharp and predatory.
If you survive, we talk. If you die, you were never worth speaking to.
Mark let out a nervous chuckle.
Why does every first contact situation involve us almost dying?
Jason sighed, running a hand through his hair.
Fine, we accept.
Seyna's eyes flickered with something, concern, amusement. Vael'Zorith rose to his full height, towering over them like a mountain.
Then let the trials begin.
Jason had faced countless battles, survived deep space dogfights, and even walked away from a collapsing orbital station once. But standing inside the Orc war arena, surrounded by thousands of towering, blue-skinned warriors chanting in a language he didn't understand, he realized something very important. He was completely and utterly screwed. The arena was massive, an ancient coliseum carved into the bones of a long-dead mountain. At its center, a wide stone battleground was littered with broken weapons, scorch marks, and deep gouges in the floor, scars of past trials. High above, Master Vael'Zorith sat upon a throne of black stone, his piercing blue eyes watching with silent amusement. Seyna stood beside him, her expression carefully neutral. But Jason didn't miss the way her fingers tightened slightly at her sides. She doesn't like this. Great, that makes two of us. Jason, Alex, and Mark stood in the center of the arena, waiting for whatever horrible test of survival the Orcs were about to throw at them. Alex cracked her knuckles, rolling her shoulders.
All right, let's get this over with. What are we fighting? Some oversized lizards? A battle bot? Giant sandworms?
I hope it's a giant sandworm.
Jason wasn't in the mood for jokes.
Stay sharp, we don't know what we're dealing with.
A loud clang echoed through the arena as an enormous iron gate began to rise on the far end of the battleground. Jason's instincts screamed at him to be ready, and then it stepped out. The creature was unlike anything Jason had ever seen. Easily 10 feet tall, its deep obsidian armor pulsed with unnatural blue light. Its arms were massive, ending in razor-sharp claws, and strange runes glowed across its chest, the same runes Jason had seen carved into the Orc fortress. Its eyes locked onto them, filled with something ancient, something wrong. Naomi's voice crackled over Jason's comm.
Guys, bad news. That thing is not just some gladiator beast. I'm picking up insane energy readings. It's infused with some kind of gravity-warping tech.
Wait, it controls gravity, that's cheating.
Jason didn't get a chance to respond before the creature lunged. It moved too fast for something that size. One moment it was across the arena, the next. Jason barely had time to roll out of the way as a massive crater exploded into the ground where he'd been standing. Alex was already dodging, her cybernetic arm glowing as she activated her combat enhancements. The creature turned toward them again, its chest runes flashing. Then, suddenly, the air itself shifted. Jason felt the pull before he saw it, his body yanked toward the creature as gravity itself warped. Alex cursed as she skidded sideways. Jason twisted midair, managing to land in a roll, but Mark was already in trouble, pulled straight toward the beast's waiting claws. Naomi's voice screamed over the comm.
Mark, move.
But Mark, being Mark, had a different idea. Instead of dodging, he flipped midair and kicked off a nearby boulder, redirecting himself right onto the creature's back. Jason's heart stopped.
Mark, what the hell?
Ride the gravity beast.
Mark yelled, gripping onto the creature's armored shoulders. Jason palmed his face. Alex exhaled slowly.
I hate him.
The orcs in the arena cheered. Even Vael'Zorith chuckled from his throne. Seyna, however, just shook her head. Jason was going to have a headache after this. Mark whooped as he clung to the gravity beast's armored back, his wild grin completely at odds with the fact that they were moments from being crushed into paste. Mark, that thing's going to kill you. Mark twisted around, barely dodging a massive clawed hand as the beast tried to shake him off.
He loves me, don't you, big guy?
The beast roared, its gravity field pulsing again, this time sending Mark flying high into the air. For a second, Jason thought he was about to watch his most unpredictable crew member splatter across the arena floor. Instead, Mark did something even dumber. He twisted midair, landed on the creature's head, and punched it. Hard. A deep, metallic clang echoed through the Colosseum. Then the creature screeched in fury, its glowing runes flashing violently. The gravity field around them surged, pulling stones, dust, and debris into the air like a miniature black hole. Jason and Alex staggered, struggling to keep their footing as the very ground beneath them seemed to shift. Alex gritted her teeth.
I am going to kill that idiot.
Naomi's voice crackled over their comms.
Guys, this thing isn't just a random monster. It's some kind of orc war construct. I'm reading old-world energy signatures inside it.
Jason dodged a flying piece of rubble.
Any chance you can shut it down?
You want me to hack an ancient alien war machine while you're actively fighting it? Yeah, sure. Let me just pull out my magic wand.
Take that as a yes.
Naomi muttered something in Japanese that Jason was pretty sure was an insult. Meanwhile, Mark was still riding the beast like a damn rodeo champion. The orc crowd, which had started off skeptical, was now cheering wildly. Even Vael'Zorith looked mildly impressed. Seyna, Jason risked a glance at her, standing near the throne. Her expression was unreadable, but her violet eyes were locked on him now, not Mark. Interesting. But Jason didn't have time to think about that, because at that moment, the war beast turned its full attention toward him. And then it charged. Jason barely had time to dive sideways as the creature's massive claws ripped through the ground where he had just stood. The sheer force of impact sent shockwaves across the arena. Alex opened fire, her enhanced cybernetic arm stabilizing her aim even as the gravity fluctuated around them. Rounds pinged off the beast's armor, doing little more than annoying it.
We need a new plan.
Jason shouted. Mark, still on the creature's back, laughed.
New plan, this is going great.
The beast roared again, and this time, the entire gravity field inverted. Jason felt his feet leave the ground as he and Alex were suddenly flung upward, weightless. Jason barely managed to grab onto a jutting piece of stone, stopping himself from floating helplessly into the sky. Alex wasn't as lucky. She drifted upward fast, reaching for something, anything, to hold onto. Then, without hesitation, Seyna moved. With a single, powerful leap, she soared through the air, moving with impossible grace, and caught Alex's arm just before she could float too far. Alex blinked.
Okay, that was kinda cool.
Seyna simply tossed Alex back down hard. Alex landed with a roll, glaring up at her. Jason had no time to process the exchange because suddenly the beast's glowing blue runes shifted, its energy surging toward something beneath the arena floor. The entire arena floor split open. Jason barely had time to react before the ground gave way beneath him, and he was falling into the darkness below. Jason barely had time to process the ground vanishing beneath him before he was free-falling into darkness. His instincts kicked in, he twisted midair, arms flailing for something to grab onto. The wind rushed past his ears, and for a split second he thought, this is it. Then, out of nowhere, a hand grabbed his wrist. Jason's fall came to a sudden, jarring stop. He dangled several meters above the unknown abyss, looking up to see Seyna gripping his arm, her muscles tensed as she held him suspended in midair. Her violet eyes locked onto his. For the first time, Jason saw something in them, not just strength, but something deeper, a flicker of uncertainty, and then it was gone. With a sharp exhale, Seyna swung him upward with impossible ease. Jason managed to catch the edge of the broken stone ledge, his fingers digging into the cracked surface as he pulled himself up. The moment his boots hit solid ground, he turned toward her.
You are reckless.
Seyna cut him off, stepping back.
You fight with no discipline, no awareness of your surroundings. Do not mistake my actions for kindness, human. If you die before proving yourself, it dishonors the trial.
Wouldn't want to mess up your warrior games.
Before Seyna could reply, Alex dropped down from a ledge above, landing in a crouch.
All right.
She muttered, shaking dust off her jacket.
So we're alive mostly.
Mark landed right after her, arms spread wide like a performer finishing a stunt.
That was awesome.
Jason ignored him, scanning their surroundings. The arena above was gone, collapsed into what appeared to be an underground chamber. Massive stone pillars rose into the darkness, and strange glowing veins of blue energy pulsed through the walls, casting eerie shadows.
Are you guys alive?
Barely. What the hell just happened?
That was a war beast. It wasn't just a combat machine. It was a key.
A key to what?
Before Naomi could answer, Rorario's voice cut through the comms, calm but firm.
They are coming.
Who is coming?
And then from the darkness they heard it. A deep, unnatural growl. The temperature seemed to drop, and the glowing veins along the walls began to flicker wildly. Seyna immediately stepped forward, drawing the curved energy blade from her belt. Jason reached for his weapon, his gut already telling him this wasn't part of the trial. And then from the shadows they emerged. Tall, elongated figures, their skin black as the void, their eyes glowing with a sickly golden light. Their movements were unnatural, shifting like living shadows, and their whispers filled the air with a sound that made Jason's blood turn ice cold. Seyna's grip tightened on her blade.
Voidborn.
Jason had never heard the name before, but judging by the way Seyna's expression darkened, he knew one thing for sure. Whatever these things were, they were about to fight for their lives. The Voidborn moved like shadows given form, their elongated limbs shifting unnaturally, as if reality itself was struggling to contain them. The golden glow of their hollow, pupil-less eyes burned against the dark cavern walls, their whispers 1,000 voices layered atop one another, ancient, hungry, and wrong. Jason didn't hesitate. He raised his sidearm and fired. The shot rang out, a bright energy blast slamming into the nearest Voidborn. It passed straight through. Jason barely had time to curse before the creature lunged. Seyna moved first, her curved energy blade igniting in a flash of brilliant blue. She swung in a perfect arc, her movements so fluid they barely seemed human. The Voidborn shrieked as her blade tore through its shifting form, sending ripples of energy cascading across its body. Jason staggered back.
Okay, swords work, good to know.
Alex fired next, her enhanced cybernetic targeting system locking on before unleashing a rapid burst of plasma rounds. Some of the shots barely affected the Voidborn, but others seemed to make them recoil. Naomi's voice crackled over Jason's comms.
They're vulnerable to energy-based attacks. Plasma, radiation, anything that disrupts their form.
Jason switched his weapon to pulse mode, adjusting the charge.
Got it.
Mark, on the other hand, had a different approach.
All right, spooky noodle monsters, let's dance.
He charged straight at one of them, ducking under a sweeping claw and launching himself off a rock slab. His fists crackled with energy from his shock gloves as he drove them into the Voidborn's center mass. The creature screeched, its body distorting, but it wasn't down.
Okay, that didn't work as well as I hoped.
One of the Voidborn shifted suddenly, vanishing from sight, only to reappear directly behind Alex. Jason's gut lurched.
Alex behind you.
But before Alex could react, Seyna was already there. The Orc warrior moved lightning fast, grabbing Alex and twisting them both out of the way just as the Voidborn's clawed hands slashed downward, leaving deep gouges in the stone where Alex had been standing. Jason could hear the Orc spectators above shouting in their native tongue. Some sounded amused, others intrigued, but Master Vael'Zorith he watched in cold silence.
All right, focus fire and target them one at a time.
A sudden, low hum filled the chamber. Jason felt it before he saw it, a shift in the air, a change in gravity itself. The Voidborn began to converge, their forms pulsating in sync. Then everything exploded. A massive wave of golden energy surged outward, hitting Jason like a physical force. He was flung off his feet, crashing against the cavern wall. His head rang, his vision blurred. For a moment, all he could hear was static. Then, a voice. Not over the comms, not inside his head, but somewhere deeper, somewhere ancient.
We have waited long enough.
Jason's breath caught in his throat. The voice was not human. It was not Orc. It was something else entirely, and somehow it was speaking directly to him.